You know what? Hell with it. Let's do this. What's going on, guys? This is Eric with Freakin Blah. How have you been? I've missed you again. Sure, some of you missed me. Maybe. It has been over a year since I have done a video. A year ago, I did a video on Mark Wade. That situation hasn't changed much, but it's been a year. Can you believe it's been a year? Well, I hope at least some of you saw this video in your subscription feed. I mean, I'm currently deciding to come back into this while YouTube is apparently both setting itself on fire and shooting both its legs off at the hip for whatever reason. Be it they're trying to appease the people that are ideologically aligned with them, or they're just scared of them. I don't know. I don't know. They need to fire a whole bunch of people and start over before it burns to the ground. But I'll tell you this. The minute a service comes up that will do revenue sharing, ad revenue sharing, which is what brought people to YouTube in the first place, YouTube's done. I mean, there will be a mass bailout, and I'll be one of them. But what I've missed about doing this is you guys. I have so missed this, and the past year has been a roller coaster for me, and I don't want to get all off into that. But yeah, I feel like things have kind of settled down to the point where, I mean, I'm still working, doing all that jazz, and I wish I could do this more regularly. But things have settled down to the point where I kind of felt like maybe it was time to get back into this. So, now that I'm done boring you with that, it is good to see you. I'm glad to be here. Make sure you leave your comments, whether you agree or disagree. I read all of them. And I think rather than spending my time on Twitter, which has been really the only place that I have been active the past year, online talking about this kind of thing, which if you want to join me on Twitter, it's at Eric, what is it? The underscore, not slash, but the underscore talks. That's me on Twitter, and I'll see if I can't put a link in the description below for you guys that want to check that out. So, a couple of weeks ago, actually a little more than a month ago, Bleeding Fool very graciously allowed me the opportunity to post an article of my thoughts on how the Avengers accidentally created the Fountain of Youth and no one noticed. Seriously. I will put that link in the description box below too if you want to read that, but it's in the movie. If you think about it, you can probably realize what I'm talking about without even reading it, but yeah, it's there. The wonders they can do with it, I mean, it's right there. It's right there. I don't think they intended to do that, but it's there all the same. So, they very graciously, again, allowed me a second opportunity, unbelievably, to spout my thoughts again, this time on the new Terminator film, Terminator Dark Fate. And boy, where to begin? Okay, so you guys, for the 5 of you that are listening that are actually familiar with my ranting, you know that I'm a great big Terminator fan. Huge Terminator fan. Some guys had Star Trek, some guys had Star Wars growing up. I was the Terminator guy. I mean, I got everything that there was to get. I love the series. It just captured my attention. So, a lot of people ask me, what do you think about this new trailer, the new concepts? So I wrote an article for Bleeding Fool, and I kind of wanted to talk, over the article. I'll post that link in the description so you can go read it. Please do. And please leave comments there. And just, I kind of wanted to flesh that out a little bit. I want to talk it over with you guys and see what you guys thought about it. So, the title of this article, and this is what really just the first thing that jumps out at me, is John Connor the latest male hero to fall to identity politics? It looks like identity politics may have succeeded where Skynet and its Terminators never could, killing John Connor. At least, that's what the latest talk online would lead one to believe after the release of the first teaser trailer for Terminator Dark Fate, the 6th film in the Terminator franchise. And boy, is there some history to unpack there. And who's to doubt it at this point? John is conspicuously absent from not only this trailer, but from all promotional materials up to this point. The casting announcements, the posters, even the promo blurbs seen in the featurettes from director Tim Miller, who did Deadpool, and producer James Cameron, who wrote and directed the first two. And there is not one glimpse or mention of John Connor, and he is arguably one of the central characters, if not the central character to the franchise. Or he used to be. So I'm writing this, and I'm thinking, you know, everyone equates Arnold with the Terminator. Right? I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, he's iconic. I mean, the character's iconic. Him in the role is iconic. It's been a little played out the past few years. I think people might have overemphasized his importance. But story-wise, it was just as much about the character of John Connor and the character of Sarah Connor, his mother. So this article, written by this knucklehead named Eric, goes on to say, in recent years, there seems to have been a push to diminish or outright replace male heroes with female versions who, let's be honest, are very often simply male roles played by females with cries of diversity victory all round. Films such as Ghostbusters, 2016, a film that was a failure on multiple levels financially and critically, and Star Wars The Last Jedi, which was extremely divisive and much less lucrative than The Force Awakens, took great strides to not only put females front and center, and I want to note, I do in the article too, it's fine, that's good when it's done for the right reasons, like pure storytelling reasons, but these films also went out of their way to write every single male character is either toxic, a buffoon, or the villain. Now, maybe you didn't catch that when you watched either one of these films, if you watched either one of these films. But if you ever think about it, that's exactly what they did. There is not a single good male character in either one of those films. Going on, audiences can be forgiven if they've grown a bit cynical toward Hollywood in recent years, as Hollywood seems to have been determined to disregard and disrespect large swaths of them, and the characters they've grown to love, to appease certain political factions who don't care about art, but only numbers under the guise of equality, quote unquote. The Last Jedi and Ghostbusters 2016 are just two of many, many, many recent examples of this phenomenon. It is unfortunately looking like Terminator Dark Fate may be no different, and it grieves me to say that. I'm just going to add that. The ad campaigns thus far have done little to dissuade anyone. From the teaser poster showing the three leads, all female, an older, battle-hardened Sarah Connor, a new girl that needs protecting from her would-be metallic assassins, named, I don't know if you'd pronounce this Dani or Donnie, or I don't know, and her female, kinda sorta human Terminator protector, Grace, to James Cameron weirdly promoting this as Linda Hamilton's Expendables movie, okay, to the trailer itself, which shows the females in the thick of the action with a brief, meant to be intriguing, but was just kind of meh Arnold shot. It would seem the crux of the ad campaign is less about, check out this awesome new film we're making, and comes across as more girl power. Am I right, ladies? Yay! That kind of came out weird. I see, I'm rusty, guys. I haven't done this in a long time. I hope this isn't sucking completely. Give me time. I'll get my feet back under me here. The Terminator fans website quoted James Cameron as saying this film would serve as a reinvention, and he did. He said that multiple times in the series. It's all about passing the baton, quote unquote, to a batch of new characters, apparently at the expense of the legacy ones. Any of you Star Wars fans, does that sound even remotely familiar? How did that go? Now, this is where I write what I kind of just talked about a second ago, but now let it be known that I am a Terminator fan, and not just a fan, but a big fan. How big? I tell you, Star Wars, Star Trek, me, I'm the Terminator guy, and I didn't go into it for the sake of brevity on the website, and I can't really go into it now for the sake of brevity, but I'd like to talk about it in the future if you guys want to hear that. I bought the films, the comics, the soundtracks, the graphic novels, t-shirts, what have you. But I mention this because I'm the guy that returned to Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor is supposed to excite. I should be throwing my fist up and saying, she's back. Finally. But I'm not. I confess I feel conflicted over that apparent contradiction, but it's there just the same. And I go on to talk a little bit about how this is the third time this series has been, or an attempted reboot has been done in this series. If you count Terminator 3, that makes it the fourth. Terminator 3 was supposed to start new films. Terminator Salvation was supposed to start a trilogy. Terminator Genesis was supposed to start a trilogy. And now this one is supposed to start a trilogy. And, you know, I think there might be a little bit of a lack of enthusiasm towards this trailer from myself and general audiences. That's part of it. That's probably part of it because, you know, as I say here, is there are so many times the hope can be stirred up to be let down again. How does the old proverb go? Hope deferred makes the heart sick. And people certainly seem to be sick of the Terminator. And that's sad because it's such a great story, or at least it was to start with. Such a classic couple of movies. And the first two still hold up. I mean, even to this day, 30 years later or whatever it is. It's sad. It's sad. I mean, you know, it's the fifth time they've restarted this, if you count the Sarah Connor Chronicles, the TV show. I mean, how many times are these guys going to swing and miss? They've struck out already. But going on with the article and my feelings on it, I know this isn't the primary problem for myself personally. Like I said, I'm a big fan. I do own all the things I just mentioned. I actually even own Genesis. Genesis was definitely one of the worst offenders, but even that wasn't as bad as many make it out to be. It was just so homogenized and bland and stupid. Okay, it was pretty bad, but it had good moments that were overshadowed by all this bad and stupid. And I digress there because that is a whole nother conversation to be had. And a lot of people have had it already. The primary problem with Dark Fate is the feeling like the entire story, the story that we all grew up and we care about and we love, might have been co-opted by identity politics. The crux of the story gutted to give a fresh take, quote unquote, to the ladies. I never thought I'd say this. I really didn't. But I almost wish Terminator Genesis had just been the reboot they had discussed making initially. Because that's what it was going to be. I don't know if you guys knew that. It was going to be a complete reboot without Arnold. It was just going to start over. And it is... My hypothesis is Jai Courtney was initially cast to play the Terminator. And if you've ever seen the first Jack Reacher movie where he plays a cold-blooded assassin, he would have done really well as the Terminator. I mean, really well. He's got the build. I mean, everything about Jai Courtney and the performances he typically gives, he's really good when he's cold. Or batshit crazy like he was in Suicide Squad. Though, you know, I'm sure a lot of you are huge Jai Courtney fans. I'm not a big fan of the guy. I thought he was horribly miscast as Kyle Reese. But I think because Anton Yelchin, I can never get his name right. I don't know if he had passed away by that point. I mean, because he had been... I don't think he had. I don't think he had passed away at that point. He sadly, a terrible accident took his life. But he played Kyle Reese in Terminator Salvation, and he did great. He was fine. And I think that he should have been in this film. I mean, it just would have made more sense, and it would have... I know Paramount didn't give a crap about Terminator Salvation because that was distributed by Warner, but still, I mean, if you make the fans happy and give them something to connect to, then you have a better chance at success. But anyway, I'm going to digress on that one for now again. I would have rather seen the Terminator Salvation arc finished than see what Dark Fate potentially is going to be. Because those would have at least kept the central story intact. They might have screwed them all up, but the central heart of the story still would have been there. I would have rather seen those than see this series fall apart with James Cameron's name back at the top of the credits. As it stands, Dark Fate presents us with no John, and with people asking Sarah Connor, Who are you? Rumors, mind you at this point, rumors, have been spreading that Skynet is no more, and John Connor is no more. Therefore, Sarah Connor's main role is no more. Simple math, guys. And her part to play in this was no small feat, which was that of raising the man who would go on to rally the human race against the machines. She would protect him and train him and equip him for the task. She is and always was the backbone of the future's salvation. And it looks as if that legacy is being stripped away from her before our very eyes by making changes to the central story in the name of female empowerment, quote unquote. Ironic, isn't it? Whilst this commentary might prove to be totally off, wouldn't it be sad if we're about to get yet another retcon of a story we love in the name of quote unquote diversity that steps on the backs of the legacy characters so many of us know and love? Especially from one of the greatest filmmakers of our time, who has done more for establishing women in the forefront of franchises typically known for males than almost any other. If they strip this away from John Connor, they strip it away from Sarah Connor too. It saddens me to think that I will have to walk away from a franchise that I have cherished for decades because it was one more thing ruined in the name of social justice. But I will if I have to. Who knows? Maybe they'll end up pulling it off. In my next piece, / maybe video, I'll discuss the new trailer. Yeah, there'll definitely be a video. I'll discuss the new trailer a bit more in depth, the new premise, and the ever-slimming possibility that these rumors are all wrong. And I want to close with this tidbit. I'm not encouraging excuse me. I'm not encouraging you to not see this film, believe it or not. By all means, see it. I'm going to go see it opening weekend because I'm a fan. I just hope they don't let me down. And I sure as hell hope they don't let me down over identity politics. It's been really good to be back with you guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're new here, please subscribe and share the video because that makes a huge difference right now. I'm not monetized. If this is on YouTube, I'm not up to 1,000 subscribers, so I'm not really worried about money, but it just supports me. If you share with others, if you like it, leave comments down below if you have thoughts, because as I work on this, you guys may have angles and thoughts that I haven't thought of, and it all just kind of adds to the conversation. That's why my channel was called Blah Freakin Blah to begin with. But thank you guys. If you're still here for listening, I really appreciate you. As always, it's good to see you. I can't believe it's 2019. And I'll see you soon on the next one.